Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have Auntie Joyce in the kitchen with me today, and she's going to be sharing her recipe for her famous black cake. Now, I've shared this recipe on my channel before, but today I physically have her in the kitchen, so this way she can share with me some more tips and tricks just in case she has any. Let me tell you all, this black cake tasted as it normally does when she makes it. Absolutely amazing and perfect. And just a fun fact for all of you, Auntie Joyce is actually the person that made my mom's wedding cake as well as most of my aunt's wedding cakes. You know that especially back in the days when people would have weddings, and even now in Guyanese households, black cake is such a specialty and such a tradition. So she was the one that always made it for their weddings, and it is absolutely amazing. Now, if you all want to see how Auntie Joyce puts together this delicious, dense, and flavorful black cake, then please keep on watching. Now, the first thing that we're going to do to make this black cake is to cream our butter and sugar together. So in my stand mixer here, I have some unsalted butter that has been softened to room temperature. You want to make sure it's nice and soft, so this way it's just easier when you're mixing everything together, and it'll make for a better batter in the end. So I'm going to add those into my stand mixer, and then I'm going to go in with my brown sugar. You can use any type of brown sugar, it just adds a better color to the cake than white sugar. And once you get that sugar into your stand mixer, you're going to beat this on a medium speed for about 10 minutes or even more until this mixture is light, fluffy, and all of that sugar dissolves within the butter. Now, this is what the butter and the sugar look like after about 12 minutes of beating. As you all can see, it is nice and smooth, it is fluffy, it's light in color, and one of the biggest parts that you have to look out for is making sure that the sugar granules are dissolved into the butter. It's going to make for a better product in the end and a better texture in the cake. And once you get all of that butter and sugar mixed up very well and get the sugar dissolved, it is time to go in with a little bit of freshly ground nutmeg, so this way it can give some flavor to the cake. So that's almond, you'll put like half a teaspoon?
Yes. Because it's half a pound.
Okay.
To be generous, I don't like to put too much of this. Just make it taste bitter.
Okay. And if they want to use like mixed essence and all that kind of stuff, they can if they want. Right?
Yeah, they can use whatever essence of their choice. Some people use orange essence.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have that in
I don't have, but sometimes if I have that, I'll use it.
Okay.
I prefer the orange essence than this.
Okay. Orange and almond essence.
Orange and almond. Now we mix our baking powder.
Baking powder?
Don't forget that.
And what was
That's
that?
it.
What was that? You added in like half a tablespoon?
Right.
Okay. So once you get your nutmeg, all of your extracts or your essences added, as well as your baking powder, you're going to go ahead and just give everything a quick mix until it's mixed together. And at that point, you're going to go ahead and start to add in your eggs one at a time. Now, as usual, all of my ingredients and their proper measurements will be down in the description box right below this video. So make sure you check that out when you're getting ready to put this recipe together, and you'll see everything that needs to go in here. Now, these eggs were at room temperature. It just helps when mixing the batter that everything's at room temperature. It makes everything come out smoother and come out better. And as you all can see, Auntie Joyce does not separate her eggs or add in the eggs one at a time. She literally goes in with all of the eggs at once, gives it a nice mix until everything is perfectly mixed together, and then your cake batter is ready. Alright, so as you all can see, those eggs have mixed in very well. Now, sometimes you're going to see that the batter will separate just a little bit, and that's just because you're using butter, which is a fat, and you're using eggs, which is more water-based, and when they mix together, they don't mix together properly. However, once you add in the flour later and your dried ingredients, it will all be taken care of. So on top of this mixture, we're going to be going in with our browning. Remember, the browning is what's going to give that cake that nice dark color, and Auntie Joyce makes a very dark black cake. If you don't want it so dark, you can add in less browning, but just remember that everybody has their preferences. The cake came out delicious, and on top of this, we're also going to be going in with our soaked and ground fruits. If you want to see how I make these fruits or soak these fruits on my channel, I'll have the recipes or the videos linked in my description box right below this video as well. And we're also going to be going in with some sherry. Now, you can use whatever wine of your choice, but we like to use sherry whenever putting this cake together. And at this point, you just have to mix the batter very well until all of the fruits and the browning is well combined with all of the other ingredients. So this is the color you like to see usually? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because when you bake it, it gets kind of dark too. And I'm serious when I put a little salt in here.
Oh, you put a little bit of salt?
Yeah. I'm serious about that.
Okay,
just
so
a little, just
a little pinch?
Yeah.
So you'll tell me.
Yep.
And I'll put in the flour spoonful by spoonful?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you don't want to overmix it, you just want the flour to combine and that's it. Now once all of your wet ingredients are mixed together properly, you're going to go ahead and start to stream in your flour a little bit at a time. Now all I'm doing is going in with spoonfuls at a time, so this way it's well combined. And remember, we do not want to overmix this batter, we just want to mix it until all of the dried ingredients are not seen anymore.
Oh, it got nice colors,
Yeah.
Matthew.
Yeah, this is the color that you usually...
Yeah, when you bake that, it'll be so nice.
Yeah, some of the fruits gotta mix in better.
But you can mix it a bit faster now.
Yeah.
In as much as I use this, when I finish, I just use my hands and turn it up.
Oh, really?
Give it a finished touch with my hands, my shoulder. Put the elbow grease to work. If you're baking 5 pounds of cake, you have to put a pound of each fruit.
Yeah. So technically 5 pounds of fruit.
It's 5 pounds of cake you're baking. Like Stevie cake is 5 pounds of fruit I said there, but you got the butter and the flour and everything. It's gonna be 20-something pounds of cake. No.
Wow.
Yeah, because you put a
pound,
5 pound
the
of
flour,
everything.
the butter, the 5 pound.
Yeah.
And that's hard to mix.
So how do you guys do that? You just gotta
We
keep
have
mixing by batches? Or you have a big one of this?
No, I mix everything else separately and then I put it in a pot.
Oh.
And I put my sister and Uncle Dara to work.
So once it stands up in the middle, that's the texture?
Yes.
So if it doesn't stand up in the middle, do they have to add more flour or something? Okay.
That don't need anything.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. Now in order for this to fit properly into one pan, I recommend using a 10-inch circular pan that you've greased very well. However, I only have an 8-inch pan. Now what will happen is if I were to put it all in the 8-inch pan, it would just be too thick for my preference. If you like a very thick cake, then go ahead and do that. However, I went ahead and I split it up between these two pans. I have an 8-inch circular pan and a smaller loaf pan, which was about 8 inches as well.
About 40 minutes.
40 minutes, and then they have to check it with a toothpick.
Yes.
And if it leaves the sides of the pan,
Just turn it around.
like rotate it in the oven.
Another thing is, you have a tray, put it at the bottom of the pan, the oven with water.
Okay.
That helps the cake not to burn.
Yeah. We went ahead and preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I went ahead and put a little baking dish full of water at the bottom of the oven to help the cake not to burn and dry out. And I'm going to pop these in for about 40 minutes, and at that point I'm going to check it with the toothpick, and if it needs longer, if the toothpick's wet, I'll cook it for longer. Now while the cake is baking in the oven, we're going to go ahead and create the mixture that we're going to soak the cake in when it is done baking. So into my little measuring cup here, I'm going to be mixing together some brandy as well as some sherry, and I'm going to mix those together. And this way, when it's done baking, I can go ahead and soak the cakes with this mixture. So my black cake came out of the oven after about an hour, and I went ahead and I brushed it very liberally with all of that rum mixture that we had made earlier. And after you brush it while it's hot, you're going to allow it to cool for about 15 to 20 minutes in the pan. And at that point, you can go ahead and overturn it onto your board or your plate or whatever surface you want to serve it on. And at this point, you can either go ahead and frost or ice your cake to your liking, or you can go ahead and slice it as it is and serve. This black cake was so rich, it was so dark, it was so dense, exactly what I know and what I love a black cake to be. Auntie Joyce shared all of her amazing tips and tricks to make this black cake. She's baked so much black cake in her lifetime, and trust me when I tell you she is a pro, you're definitely going to want to give this recipe a try. So I want to thank Auntie Joyce for coming into my kitchen today and sharing her black cake recipe with all of us. Please go ahead and give her some love in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. And I'll see you all again very soon with another one of my recipes. Bye everyone.